Welcome to another gripping story here on Behind Closed Cases. Today, we delve into the haunting case of young Emily Turner. It all began with a disappearance on a seemingly ordinary afternoon, shattering the quiet of a small town. Her case would eventually uncover a sinister plot and lead us to a terrifying truth. Emily Turner was the kind of child everyone in town knew, a bright, spirited 8-year-old who loved her bike rides down Maple Street, just a block from her home. But on this quiet Wednesday afternoon, Emily never made it back. Her mother reported her missing, saying she'd gone out just after lunch and hadn't returned. From the start, we knew we had a limited window. The first 24 hours in a missing child case are critical. My team and I immediately set up a base at the local station, analyzing every clue, every witness, trying to piece together what might have happened to Emily that afternoon. We interviewed neighbors, friends, and teachers, searching for any clue that could tell us where Emily might be. We learned that just before she vanished, a neighbor had spotted her talking to a figure at the edge of Maple Park. A detail that would become our first lead. We combed through Maple Park, knowing that every inch mattered. There, just beyond the playground, we found Emily's bike overturned on the grass, the wheels still spinning when a local jogger had come upon it. But no sign of Emily. At first, it was a scene that felt all too familiar. An abandoned bike, a hint of disturbance in the ground. But as we dug deeper, we found something else. In the dirt, there were footprints, adult-sized, alongside smaller prints that could have been Emily's. With the initial search coming up empty, we brought in search dogs and even canvassed nearby homes for any sighting. Then, one evening, we received an anonymous tip that a suspicious man had been seen frequenting the park in the weeks leading up to Emily's disappearance. This tip felt like a breakthrough, so we doubled down, hoping the investigation would reveal his identity. After analyzing surveillance footage from nearby stores, we identified a man who seemed out of place, always lingering near the park's entrance. His face wasn't clear, but his clothing and build were distinct. We put out a description, hoping someone would recognize him. Sometimes the smallest lead can open up a floodgate of information. Within hours, we had a name that would lead us into a world of lies, hidden motives, and buried secrets. This was not just a man with a habit of visiting parks. He had a past, one that hinted at darker things. 3 days after Emily's disappearance, we received a call that her body had been discovered by hikers in a wooded area just outside town. It was a heartbreaking end to what had started as a hopeful search. I can still remember the silence that settled over the team that day. There was no need for words. We knew what this meant, but we also knew our work was far from over. Now, it was about justice for Emily, about finding the person who had stolen her life. The scene was haunting. Emily had been placed with care as if her killer felt remorse, but this was no accident. It was a carefully planned crime, and we were determined to uncover every piece of evidence left behind. We discovered fibers at the scene that matched those on Emily's clothing. This, along with a shoe print left in the soft earth, started to narrow down our list of suspects. The fibers led us back to our mysterious park visitor. Our suspect had a criminal background, but nothing as severe as what we were now investigating. However, his work as a handyman gave him access to almost every house near Maple Park. He knew the families. He knew Emily. Through further questioning, we uncovered that he had visited Emily's neighborhood multiple times, always under the guise of fixing things or helping neighbors. His interactions with the families had seemed harmless until now. With enough evidence to hold him, we brought him in for questioning. He was calm at first, denying any knowledge of Emily or her family. But as we laid out our evidence, his calm demeanor cracked. I looked him in the eye and told him the truth of what we knew about the fibers, the footprint, his past, and the witnesses who had seen him talking to Emily. There's a point when even the most hardened individuals realize they're cornered, and he was no exception. The pressure mounted, and soon he admitted to having seen Emily that day, but insisted he had simply been trying to protect her from danger. We knew it was a lie, but we also knew we were close. After hours of interrogation, he finally broke, confessing to the crime and explaining in chilling detail how he had lured her away. He spoke of regret, but never showed remorse. This was the moment we had been fighting for, the moment when we could finally bring some measure of peace to Emily's family. But as the truth came out, it was hard not to feel the weight of the loss that had brought us to this moment. News of the confession spread, and the town mourned. Emily's family found some solace in knowing her killer would face justice, but the wounds ran deep. In cases like this, you feel a mix of victory and sorrow. We had found her killer, yes, but nothing would bring Emily back, and nothing would erase the pain left in her wake. The trial was swift, with the evidence mounting against him. His history, the fibers, and the confession left no room for doubt. He was sentenced to life, and the town could finally begin to heal. There are no true victories in cases like these, only closure. For Emily's family, it meant a small piece of peace. For us, it was a reminder of why we fight so hard for justice. As this case drew to a close, the community came together stronger than before. This tragedy became a catalyst for change, sparking neighborhood safety programs and a renewed commitment to protecting the town's children. Let Emily's story remind us all to stay vigilant, to protect the innocent, and to hold those who harm them accountable. Our communities are stronger when we stand together, when we look out for one another, and when we never allow darkness to go unnoticed.